Hello, everybody from the North American Medical Taiwanese Medical Association. 大家好，大家好。I'm Jianhua Huang, Huang Jianhua from National Taiwan University Hospital. Now I am the chairman and a clinical professor of Department of Emergency Medicine. It's my honor to have the chance to share some study project in our hospital with title of the Smart Emergency Department and combating pandemic in the front line. Here's my conflict of interest, and because I'm in charge of the one of the project construct the artificial intelligence model of the clinical risk prediction and a prospective clinical alarming system for high-risk patient in emergency department in our department. And another study, I'm the co-PI of the Capstone project. So the story is from the AI Center. The AI Center is the Minister of the Science and Technology Joint Research Center for AI Technology in National Taiwan University. And this center is co-chaired by the Professor Chen and Professor Hu. And this center has many study result and good performance, including in the some technique and some novel research, and publish many research articles. And they also have several PhD students and medical master students. And the center also has many international connections, including the University of Toronto and Stanford University, Harvard University, and we have been there to exchange our ideas several times. And another important is in this center, we have the good cooperation with some business companies, so that we can have the chance of the field application and let our result become come true. So in the past years, and it's the co-chair Professor Chen and co-chair Professor Hu, we have many results, and also demonstrated in the Taiwan Medical Technology Expos. And we have many work teams, and with many novel innovation and AI models. So with the cooperation of the AI Center and the hospitals, and we trying to improve our emergency patient flows. And this cooperation is from the AI Center and AI NTUs, and they have the top AI technology and cooperate with our medical project. And we have the most best field, that is emergency department in National Taiwan University. So we put this together, and then we try to do the project of smart EDs. And let's go back to look what is the real challenge of emergency department in Taiwan. Actually, the ED crowding is a challenge not only in Taiwan, it's all over the world. And this is the picture from our emergency department. And this is not the emergency room. Actually, this is outside the emergency room in the corridor of the hospitals. And but the emergency patient are put there because short of the space, and because of ED crowdings. And this is another hospital in Taiwan, and this is in another country. So the ED crowding is not only in Taiwan, and it's a constant problem. And the ED overcrowding will lead to the problem in the patient safety and overburden of the for the medical resources. And this is in the main entrance. It's not an ED entrance. It's the main entrance of our hospital. There are many patients sit there because they don't even have a bed to lie down. And sometimes they, if they really need to lie down, they can only lie down on the ground. And this is a very poor conditions. So we want to do some protocol or process reengineering for the ED patient flow. We use the model of the input and the throughput and output models. And the input is in the ED triage. The patient, when the patient came to ED, they came to the triage and then go to the ED clinic with history taking. For some critical ER patients, they go to the they were sent to the critical area for some critical care. After initial evaluation, the patient sent to the observation unit for further care or wait for admission to the general ward. And for some patients, they can discharge directly from the emergency department. And for some, they will be admission to the hospital, or for some patients, they are transferred to another hospitals. So we want to improve the ED crowding from the patient, the flow. So we have the chance to raise the international prospective research project called Smart ED. And in this project, we want to do the whole process improvement for the ED, not only for the triage or for the observation unit or for discharge. We need to improve them together so that we can solve the ED crowding problem. And then we have the cooperation with computer science and information engineering experts, and then use AI technology to improve this. And then in this project, one of the most important part is that we have a real field application to make this thing come true. And the field including the National Taiwan University, and also we have some branch hospital in the Hsinchu, Yunlin, and Jinshan. And then we go to the other medical hospital systems. And in addition, we have the cooperation with some business companies. In this project, we have the cooperation with ASUS, and they will contribute their hardware and the software and the manpower, and then we can make this result go into the so-called business model. So in this project, our major team include 5 principal investigators, the Professor Chen and Professor Fu. They are expert in the computer science and the information engineering. Then it's me, and also we have the Professor Chen, and he's an expert in the computer vision, and Professor Wang, and he's an expert in the medical image and systems. And also we have many clinical physicians join this research project, including Professor Chen. He was a superintendent of our hospital, and Professor Fang, Professor Chai, and Dr. Wang, another Dr. Wang, and Dr. Chen. They are all emergency physicians, and they work in the emergency department every day, so they really know what's a real issue in the clinical practice. So for this project, this is a co-team, including the PI and co-PIs, and we also include some all the resources and including our hospital and partner and IOL, and then we will make our result available to other hospital and other cooperations, and also make some international cooperations. So how to use the AI in our process reengineering? So the first from our patient flow, when a patient go into the emergency department, they were in the triage, and the traditional triage we only have like blood pressure, respiratory rate, body temperature. But in this project, we will incorporate some video and voice, and to do the analysis to make our triage more accurate. And after the triage, the patient will go into the ED clinic and have the interview with the physicians, and the physician will take the history and try to approach their correct diagnosis. And in this part, we will use the AI technology to improve our diagnosis. Then the patient will receive some examination like X-rays. Traditionally, the X-ray will be sent to a radiologist, and then they will have the formal report. It will take like 1 or 2 hours, but sometimes it's too long for some critical patients. So in this task, we will develop AI model to find out some very critical problem in our X-ray, and then feedback to the physician immediately to shorten so-called turnaround time. And when the patient in the observation unit, sometimes they have some condition change, make a vital sign change or something else, then we have some IoT monitoring, so we can monitor the patient in a real-time basis and feedback to our central control systems. And when the patient improved, then we will discharge the patient. But another challenge here is sometimes the patient will come back to our emergency room because of recurrent symptom or persistent symptoms. And so we need to discharge the patient more correctly. And so how to do that? And we will develop another AI model to decrease the chance of 3 days revisit and to improve the patient safeties. So for this tasks, we have the plan for the to execute these tasks. The first thing is we need to get the retrospective data from National Taiwan University Hospital database, and then we put this task include the triage and history taking and X-rays and cardiac arrest predictions and IoT machines and discharge. We put it in the patient flow, and then we set a private cloud in our hospital. This private cloud can communicate to our hospital information system, so that we can get the data in a real-time basis and make the judgment by AI model immediately. And then how to do the field application. And when we have this information and in a real-time basis, then we put this data in our different models, and this model output will show up in the computer terminals in a hospital, in emergency stations, then the physician can see that and make the decision. And we also have another central controlling panel in an emergency room. So from here we can realize how many patients or how the condition of these patients and how the condition of the ED are crowdings, and then we can have some rapid response to solve these problems. But it's not easy work because from the very beginning, we try to get the electronic medical record from our hospital. Actually, it takes a very long time. The first of all, we need to get the approved IRB. Actually, it takes 1 year to get the approved from the IRB, and then we need to go into our information system to get these data. And actually, these data are stored in a very chaotic pattern. So we need to connect to our systems and with many GPUs, then using this data in different tasks and project, and to do this. And this take a long time than our expected. And also the IoT application is another important issue in this project. And for this part, we have two type of apparatus, and the one is for the patient, and one is for the doctor and nurses. And this is to monitor the stress condition of our emergency medical staffs. And actually, we want to know their work stress and to make them work, safely and not work overloading, or even lead to some unexpected conditions. And from this IoT apparatus, we will connect to our location systems in our emergency room. And from this part, we also connect to the apps in our cellular phone. Then this data will co-incorporated to our Omni platform. Then we can output these informations and do the further analysis. And then we have the first stage and the second stage, and to achieve many goals in this project. And so when this project going, and we have the show up in our medical science expos last year, and we have shown up many results, and many people, including our ex-vice president Professor Chen, and our Professor Wong, and our Taipei City Mayor Professor Ko, and they all come and to give us some suggestion. And also for this important project, we want to show up to our people. So we have many website joining or talk with some media or on FBs to show up our result. So so that is the first part for the Capstone project. And the second part, I want to going to talk about something about the combating pandemics from the ED. There is another challenge for our ED, and this is a poster of a Society of Taiwan Emergency Medicine. We want to fight smart and combating the pandemic in the frontline EDs. And in this year, actually, we have many challenges. And the first thing is that how to keep the hospital clean, because in Taiwan we have the different COVID status from other countries. In Taiwan, we are relatively clean, so we want to keep our hospital and keep our community clean without infection, because in hospital spreading will be very terrible if happened. So, but the patient will come into the hospital from ED. So our main job is to keep the first gate to avoid the COVID patient going to the hospital and accidentally. So we have the patient diversion, and we redesign our triage area. And in the very first beginning, actually we don't really know what is the transmitted route, but now we know more clearly, maybe from the some spread and the contact, and maybe not for the from the air or aerosol. So when the patient come in, we have then go to the different space and different doors. So we developed a so-called conceptual model of the emergency medicine response to the COVID-19 outbreak. We have early patient identification and isolations. If we really find some COVID patient, then we start to do the contact tracing and do the quarantine. And also we provide adequate personal protective equipment for the healthcare workers. And this is our map of our emergency department. And this is the entrance in the Euro condition. This is our triage area. So when we don't have the pandemics, the triage area is inside of our emergency department. But for the patient diversion, we put our triage to the entrance, like the outdoor triage, and then we have the patient diversion for the medium risk patients. We send them to the special clinic outside of the hospital building, and for the high risk patients, we send them to another area outside of the hospital building, and these are critical care area for some COVID patients. And this is the entrance door of emergency department, and we put many posters to inform the patients, and also we refuse unrelated visitors to our emergency department. And this is our reformed ED triage room. So this is the body temperature detection machine. So when a patient come in, if the patient has fever, then the machine will alarm. Then we know there's some suspected patient coming. Then we will send the patient to the appropriate area for the further management. And this is our so-called high-risk isolation area. We reform this area. We build up some room, including a clinical room and for the chest X-ray. And we have some patient waiting outside for the triage. And this is an indoor area. And this in this area we can do the critical and resuscitations. And there's a so-called negative pressure area in our emergency rooms. And for this part, they are for medium risk patients. And this tent is for the sampling for the COVID, because when we do the sampling, they might have more chance to have some aerosol. So we put this outside of the buildings. And within this building, we also have some waiting area for the patient. And this is a personal protective equipment for the staff. We include a N95 mask and a goggle and a face shield. And also we have hair covers and double layer of disposable gloves and disposable gowns and shoes covers. And this is the standard PPE in the emergency room for these COVID patients. And how to do the safe sampling for the patient. And so actually this plastic transparent shield is developed first in Taiwan by some emergency physicians. When do the sampling, the physician is on one side and the patient is on another side. The hand can go in through these two holes, and then we take a sample. And this is more safe for the patient, and for the physician, because the physician will be more calm when they're taking the sampling. And for shortening the contacting time to the specific patients, so we also developed telemedicine to decrease the duration of close contact with the patients. So here the physician can sit here and talk with the patient with telecommunications, and they can explain to the patient about their chest finding and the blood sampling finding and the further disposition. And this is the patient side. The patient can watch the TV and talk to the physician directly. So although they sit on two different places, but actually they can have so-called face-to-face interaction. And then we send this result to the Journal of Medical International Research. We call it a double triage and telemedicine protocol to optimize the infection control in emergency department in Taiwan. And the first part is the patient diversion, and then we have the double triage for the suspect patients. We send it to the triage areas, and for this patient, we divide them into the telemedicine group and the conventional group to see their outcome about the interaction time. So the idea is quite clear. In the telemedicine intervention, in the telemedicine group, we have video interview and to explain the PCR result. And for the conventional group, we also have this part. And this part, there are total evaluation time and total exposure time. So for the study flow, we included 700 patients, and then we have the 160 group patient in this group this group, and another 300 patients in another group. So the results show that we have the improvement of the doctor-patient interactions. So the exposure time they become shorter, but actually the evaluation time, including the talking to the patient, explain the result, and give them some suggestion, it will become longer in the telemedicine groups. In addition to the telemedicine, we also developed some new video interaction system for the suspected COVID patients. In our isolated resuscitation room, we inputted the video systems outside and inside of the isolated resuscitation rooms. In outside the room, we have the control panel, and so we can adjust the video inside the room, and also inside room they can see the patient outside the room, and they can get the instruction from these physicians, and also the control of the video system in our nursing stations. So from here, we can have more medical staff help to realize what really happened in the resuscitation room and give them some instructions. And from this technology, also with the help of the AI center, we also developed some new communication panel and some technology to against the COVID-19. And we have cooperation with other medical centers, and we also have some symposium to show the how to use the robotics to help the control of the COVID-19. So from today's sharing, I have some points to conclude. The first is protocol engineering is important for improving the patient flow in emergency department. The second is the Capstone project focuses on the developing AI models and the field application to solve the crowding in the emergency department. And we will have some more results and some new models in the coming years. And then we can reform our emergency department, and application of this telemedicine can improve the interaction of patient and medical staffs under COVID-19 pandemics. Okay, thank you very much.